Salam alaikum, everyone. I'm Sally Howell. I'm the director of the Center for Arab American Studies at the University of Michigan Dearborn. I want to welcome you to another episode of the Zoom In on the Halal Metropolis project, where we check in with people in the Muslim community of Detroit to find out how they're faring during the COVID-19 pandemic. So today I want to thank Abbas Ammar for joining us from Al-Ameer Restaurant. How are you doing, Abbas?
I'm doing wonderful. I can't complain. We're hanging in there.
You're hanging in there. So how is your family doing?
Family is actually doing very well. My dad's a little older and my mom as well, so they're staying home. My kids are good. We can't complain, so we're very fortunate in that end.
Okay, and you're not struggling with childcare and all that, like the homeschooling.
I'm fortunate. I have a stay-at-home mom. She's wonderful. She does a lot more than I think I could have ever done. Mm-hmm. So she's a mom, teacher, nanny, you name it, she does it. Cook.
Well, I'm glad to hear it. A lot of the dual professional couples are really suffering right now.
I bet.
So tell me how things have been. So Abbas manages and is manager owner of Al-Ameer Restaurant, which is one of the oldest Lebanese restaurants in the Dearborn era. They started in the 1980s on Warren Avenue in Dearborn, sort of the heart of the business district of the Arab community. And I know that now you manage the new restaurant that's opened in Dearborn Heights. So sort of moving and growing, not just with the community, but out in front of the community, really predicting trends and stuff like that. But so how is the restaurant doing? I mean, this has to have been a really rough period for the restaurant.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, we're currently probably 70% down on a whole. So it's tough. It's unprecedented. So we are just going with the flow, kind of going a day by day currently.
Well, so what does that mean? Tell us what that means. Tell us what that looks like.
We used to have 115 staff members that were full-time. We're currently down to roughly around 25 full-time employees. So that's huge, well over 80%. So it's difficult. I mean, especially we were a dine-in based restaurant, we're full service. White linens, nice restaurant. And it's a transition. Right now we're focusing only on carry out and, some delivery with third-party platforms, but even that is difficult to sustain a restaurant. I think it's just.
Yeah. So you've had to lay a lot of people off. I mean, the majority of your staff you've had to lay off. So I'm sure that was a challenge for you. And then how are you doing things? So for the remaining staff that you have, there's still, it's still a challenge probably to maintain social distancing while working in a kitchen and prepping food and stuff like that. How are you handling that?
So yeah, that's actually slowed us down tremendously. Social distancing alone in a small kitchen is really tough. So we had to basically sacrifice our speed for safety. So we have slowed down ticket times. Normally we used to do a 7 to 12 minute ticket time. We're roughly at 15 to 20 minutes now.
Wow.
So yeah, it's almost doubled. And that's the only way you can be safe and still be productive.
Mm-hmm. And so you obviously have a loyal base of customers. If you're still at 30% of your business, that's amazing for a restaurant. I think that's probably a pretty high percentage, wouldn't you say? I mean, I don't know what the industry standard is right now, but that means that people are loyal if they're coming, because most people are just cooking at home now.
Yeah, we do have a very loyal base, and we're very thankful for them. Without them, we wouldn't be able to keep our doors currently open. But the restaurants are a extremely low margin with a high turnover. So you profit maybe 10%, but you need to be generating a lot of turnover to be a profitable restaurant. So currently, most restaurants in the area are having a really hard time dealing with this. You might see them busy and turning over some ticket times, but it's just not enough to sustain people. We're fortunate that we've been here for so long, that we are well established, and we take precautions and produce slush funds. And also the U.S. government has been very generous in helping with the PPP, so that, also gives us a little more breathing room.
Okay, so you did apply for some of those funds.
Of course, yeah. We took advantage of anything we can do to keep our staff working, to keep our doors open, anything we can do. I mean, this is unprecedented. There's nothing we can refer to kind of give us a map or an outline of which direction or where we should pivot. We are a business of trends and past trends. So when I predict, how busy we're going to be for the next week, I look at last year's base, and there's nothing to base this on. So we're just taking it day by day.
Well, so it's also Ramadan now.
That too.
We're about 2 weeks into Ramadan, and Ramadan also is historically, I remember back in the 90s when the restaurants didn't do iftars really. They just sort of served their non-Muslim customers during Ramadan and took the hit in terms of the amount of volume they got. And then slowly, maybe your dad was one of the first people to start offering an iftar at the restaurant. And I remember when people used to complain and say, well, you can't have an iftar at a restaurant. That's not the way it's done. That's not right. But gradually the restaurants became a real focus of the way Muslims celebrate Ramadan. And so first you had the move to having iftars in the restaurants, and then now you have suhoor, or you have people, still getting takeout food late into the night. So how has that affected your business?
So we are not getting the normal traffic that we would normally be getting throughout the day, with our bulk of our clientele being of Middle Eastern / Muslim background. So it has affected it when you're bulking your entire day's worth of work, or 50% of it at least, into an hour and a half, and everyone's eating at the same time, and so it has made it extremely difficult to add on to our current climate. So it's tough.
What are you thinking about moving forward? I mean, I know that we're all in this state of where we don't know what's coming. I know the governor just yesterday issued a new stay-at-home order through the end of the month, basically through the 28th of May. And I know that we really don't have good guidelines about when things open up, how they'll open up. So do you want to talk just a little bit about how you're thinking about the next few months?
So, back to what I was saying is about trends and past patterns. So we look, we're part of the NRA, the National Restaurant Association, and they are looking at, for examples, the earlier states and countries that are opened up. And they've said that most likely the pattern will be 50% capacity every other booth, so distancing at least of 6 feet between patrons. So we're expecting probably to do the same. I don't think anybody's going to reinvent anything anytime soon. So most likely 50% keeping social distancing active as much as possible. Per se, for the serving side of it, I think we would be fully masked, gloves, every 20-minute change, intervals of changing of gloves and masks. So yeah, between what's currently happening and what other states have done prior to us, we'll be adopting those methods plus adding in our own.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a professor, and we're trying to think about how we're going to deal with this at the university, what we're going to look like in the fall. I mean, we can do a lot of our teaching online, but there's a lot that we can't do online. So as an institution, we're trying to figure this out, but just the logistics of running a restaurant, I mean, my hat is off to you and all that you're dealing with. And I'm sincere when I know that you have a real loyalty in the community, and that's helping you. And I see a lot of the the newer restaurants, the burger joints. I hear that it's, late at night, those places have lines, and that some of those places are really busy in the evenings. So I'm happy to hear that that Dearborn is being so supportive of its businesses. And I just want to ask one more question of you. So I know that a lot of the restaurants in particular have been very supportive of the medical community in this moment, and like donating meals to people in the hospitals, especially when we were like at peak COVID patient.
Hmm.
Have you guys participated in anything like that?
Oh yeah, definitely. We've donated to a few different hospitals in the area. We, have worked with a couple organizations that have asked us to either discount and or do free meals.
Mm-hmm.
We recently, actually, I believe it was May 2nd, we did a 50% all day long for frontline employees. But that also wasn't just including the medical. We included police officers, fire departments, ambulance drivers, paramedics, you name it. Anyone that was on the front line, we were offering a 50% all day individual meal discount. So, we try to give back as much as we can. So we can do as much as we can right now to a certain degree.
Well, I mean, I think it's impressive that you're suffering financially, you're suffering just in a logistical way. How do you figure all these things out that you have to figure out? You're still providing services to the community. And then, yes, you're absolutely giving back and supporting the people. And I, of course, consider the restaurant workers, anyone who's working in the food service industry right now, you're also frontline workers. So it's amazing that you're able to be so supportive of the broader community. And on behalf of the broader community, I thank you for that.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate it.
And I also thank you for talking to me. We've run out of time, and I wish you the best of luck at Al-Ameer. If I were in Dearborn, I would stop by and pick up some food, but I'm staying at home right now.
Thank you, Sam.
But I encourage anyone who is there to stop to call the restaurant, order a meal. Their food is, it's just the gold standard of Dearborn Arab.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
So Allah yatik al-afia and Ramadan Kareem, and I hope to talk to you soon, face to face.
Will do. Thank you so much, Sally. I can't wait for that day.
Thank you.